Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District. My name is Sean Webb, and I'm the Director of Community Engagement in the Educational Foundation, and you're watching Classroom Conversations. I want to thank our partners at CoachellaValley.com for allowing us to air this on their platform, as well as we're on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for the foundation and the district office. So great show today, but before we go on, I want to thank the foundation board for the Desert Sands Foundation Board for making this possibility for providing this possibility with StreamYard, and I'd like to read their mission statement. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And their vision statement. In partnership with public and private sectors, Desert Sands Educational Foundation financially supports creative and innovative programs that enrich and enhance the educational experience in the academics, the arts, and extracurricular activities and engage all students and staff in Desert Sands Unified School District. And I'd like to go ahead and continue on here. We'll bring on our co-host, Chef Mary, as we continue. We've got a fun show today. Chef Mary, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing well. The 4th of July weekend was just more than I ever expected, and I'm such a patriotic person. And we had friends who got to carry the flag down Main Street, which is it brings you to your knees. And the Marine Corps band was there, and we had this incredible group of young people. They're from various schools and entities in Southern California. There must have been like 50 of them, and they're all drum and bugle group. Unbelievable young people. I mean, when you just see these people and they're acting right and they're looking good and they're dressed, they were impeccably dressed. There wasn't a spot on either one of them. I just couldn't believe it. And then we had the mariachis from Chula Vista that were there, and it was a good day. I mean, it was just fun, and I don't know. I love that place, and I go every year, and I go up for a couple of days and volunteer, and it's I feel like I almost get paid for my volunteer work. So
for those people that don't know, Chef Mary's talking about one of her past hats she wore, right? You were over in Julian when you were owner of a bed and breakfast. Is that correct?
Yes. I own Butterfield Bed and Breakfast, and it's still actually in operation. They've owned it longer than I owned it. Don and Ed Glass, and it was great to go by and say hello, and it was deja vu and talk with some of their guests. And there's nothing like going home. I mean, I always kind of think that is going home.
Okay.
So it was good. I left there feeling really good, and I was glad to be back in San Diego, and the drive was beautiful. And I don't know, life is kind of perfect right now.
That is awesome. Speaking of life being perfect, I want to share that our families are taking advantage of our meal distribution program. Things are good for them, and they can go ahead and get those at any of one of our many sites that we have here. I did a visit the other day over at John Glenn Middle School with their meal distribution, and they're servicing over 200 to 300 families a day.
Oh wow!
On any given Monday and Wednesday. So we got to thank our partnership with Nutritional Services and providing meals, and then I know that we have some more things coming. Like I told you last week, they had watermelons. This upcoming week, they're going to get some more fresh produce like that too.
Oh, so, that is awesome!
Yeah. To see 8,000 watermelons leave the district office was quite a thing to see.
Oh wow! I guess I've always kind of wondered, like in these food programs, where does the funding come from? For the purchasing of that, is it?
Yep. So this is actually a federal program that happens each and every year for the summertime. It's called the Summer Feed Program.
Okay.
I'll be the first to say that up until last year with the pandemic, whenever we had summer school, we would offer it. We'd put publications out there, but it wasn't really taken advantage of. So basically anybody under the age of 18, even when we had summer school at La Quinta, we had to open up the gates for a half hour to the cafeteria lines, and Virginia would serve them from the street. And that number, Mary, would never be more than a couple dozen. And now with the pandemic, we've got 13 sites going on, whereas when we did this prior to the pandemic, it was only like 2 or 3 sites going on every summer.
Oh, wow. So are they doing it as individual bags or boxes, or do you just kind of walk through?
No, so I grabbed meals for Brooklyn last week, and they give you a full, I would say like a full Ralph's bag full of produce, and they give you another full bag full of milk and juice, and then you get another bag full of frozen items.
Oh my God!
So you get a whole bunch of things, and it's just a great program that Dan Capello and his team are doing. As they shared, they did I think it was in the spring, they were over 4 million meals. I can only imagine what that number is now.
That's incredible. I mean, it's so good that those programs are still out there, because I think still people really aren't fully back to work yet, and people are still, now that the summer's out, the kids are home, and they're not preoccupied with, in-school learning or virtual learning. It must be difficult. And then I guess in the desert, because you're so seasonal, a lot of things close temporarily too. I remember that in the past.
Yeah. Before we bring in our guests, I want to make sure to highlight and talk about our low-cost education that we have here for our students, early opportunities for our students. Make sure you can call there for preschool. It's free and low cost. The kids are right down the hall for me. That's where I get to see them all the time. It's a lot of fun, but they're right down the hall there. But if you want to go ahead and register for preschool, Dr. Rellian and the staff are waiting for you. So please take advantage of that free and low cost preschool. Nothing wrong with that. And then lastly, before we bring in our guests, I want to make sure that please, to all of our guests, visit AuthenticIndio.com. The reason why I want to help them out, they are, I want to say they're doing a transitioning of like the city and so forth. And when I say a transition, they may be looking at the brand, they may be looking at the actual picture that we see here, Mary, that they have up there with the city of Indio. They're looking at doing some things different. So they're asking for the community, children, adults, senior citizens, please go to AuthenticIndio.com and be part of the City of Indio Community Survey. And that goes on until July 19th.
Okay.
I actually filled it out because I spend a lot of time in Indio. I'm over there all the time, over at the chamber office. We've got a lot of businesses that we work with, with the foundation. Our primary, one of our primary people that we work with all the time is Elaine Holmes over at PJ's Trophies. They do all of our plaques and so forth. So please take the opportunity to go to AuthenticIndio.com and fill out that survey.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that Indio is further down, and yet like when you live in Palm Springs, it just seems like you're going to Colorado. And now that it's becoming more of a presence. I know when I first moved to San Diego, going out to Escondido or Rancho Bernardo was a whole day trip, and now it's the next town over, and and I think that's what's happening there as well. Is once you start putting your name out there, and then you see things you can do, and even though they're known for all of their festivals, I think people don't think about it.
Yeah.
We're going to go we don't want to drive to Indio. Well, it's really not that far.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about different things going on in the desert and so forth. I want to bring up and have our guests come join us. We're really lucky today, Chef Mary, to have an individual who works with the Anderson Children's Foundation. And she's going to share about what the Anderson Children's Foundation is. And then I'm also going to share with everybody. We've talked a little bit about it, but I've got the specific numbers. We got almost $100,000 coming from them. So I want to bring on Brianna, and we can just let's find out who she is.
Okay.
Hey, Brianna, how you doing?
Hello, I'm wonderful.
Good morning.
Welcome to Classroom Conversations. As I've been sharing, you're with the Anderson Children's Foundation. Maybe if you could share who you are, what you do, and who is the Anderson Children's Foundation?
So it's actually been around quite a long time, since the 70s here in the desert, and has evolved in different forms. But the bottom line is a trust was started by Irene Anderson, and she never had children of her own, and she wanted to enhance the lives of children in the Coachella Valley. So we are carrying on her mission with the Anderson Children's Foundation. And so really that's, we've given over $17 million since 1993 to a little over 1,000 different projects in the Coachella Valley. Okay. So if you just had our website up there, if you get a chance, you can see most of our grantees up there are listed by year. And you can check out some of the programs we funded other than the ones we're going to talk about today. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see right here, Mary, from 1993 to 2020, $17 million. That's actually amazing. And I love that you guys post all the different years. So, for example, you could click on this year, and we're going to talk about these today, Mary, but these are all the different programs that are receiving funds that actually showed up at Brianna's office the other day and picked up a check.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But we can't let her get away too far, without talking about herself. Brianna, maybe introduce yourself, who you are, and how long you've been in the Coachella Valley.
Oh, goodness. Long enough to see a lot of changes. I've been here over 40 years,
Okay.
almost as long as Anderson Children's Foundation has been around. And I grew up, going to the local schools here. And it's, I was talking to Mary a little bit earlier, just the sense of community here is wonderful. And, getting to know everybody. I've been at the Anderson Children's Foundation for about 3 years now.
Okay.
But I worked with nonprofits in the past. So I've been able to see some of the nonprofits I used to work for at Cal State. We had a little project called the Coachella Valley Health Collaborative, which was, we were trying to make sure nonprofits didn't duplicate services. And so I'm lucky to be able to carry that on now and collaborate, encourage our grantees to collaborate. And I have, similar to you, I have one of the best jobs in the Valley, Sean, where I get to go out and see our grantees in action. And I get to see what they're doing, what kind of impact they're making. And I get to see the children really enjoying, the funding from ACF.
Yeah, no, that's just amazing. Mary, would you like to learn about some of the funds and where they're going this year?
Yeah, I think what I'm kind of curious is, like, when a grant comes to you or a request for a grant, are there a team of you that work together on it? And is there a criteria and some sort of protocol that is mandated, but then maybe you can kind of work around?
So one of our only stipulations is your program has to be a nonprofit and you have to work with children in the Coachella Valley. And so our applications start February 1st and we give funding out once a year. So we always fund July 1st. And there is a team they're anonymous. There's an anonymous committee that, really well-placed people in the community from different backgrounds who review the applications. And that's pretty much it. You'll find that it's one of the easiest applications from a foundation.
I'll say that completely. It's a very simple application and compared to all the grants and so forth. And I love how you just get to the point.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I love that. Whereas, Mary, there's other applications that are 10 pages long that you have to go through.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I love that you get your guys' organization and the timeliness of it too. You apply in February, you find out later in the spring, and then you get a check in July. It's just fantastic. I loved going to pick up that check last July.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're always consistent, and we really try to make it as simple as possible. We're not trying to make anybody jump through hoops or write a dissertation. We want to fund the children. We want to enhance their lives, so we make it as easy as possible. Everything's online now. You can see exactly when we went online. You were just showing our website. Used to be paper applications, and we've switched everything to streamline it as simple as possible for anyone to apply.
Yeah. No, and just the amount of organizations that you guys have been able to touch and to help out over the years is just amazing. You said over 1,000 different projects and grants that you guys have issued. I wonder how many people that actually touches, right? That's got to be 10 times, 100 times that amount. It's just amazing what you guys do in the community.
Thank you.
But Mary, why don't we see what we're getting for Desert Sands? I know we've been talking about it a little bit, but why don't we share some more here? Once again, we're with Brianna from the Anderson Children's Foundation, and we just found out, actually July 1, our schools went over to start collecting the checks. It's pretty awesome. Creole Ranch, they're going to do something with social emotional education and music. I actually talked to Dr. Relian with what they're doing with their engagement activities. He's right down the hallway here. He's excited for that money, those funds. Let's move along here. Ford Elementary, I talked to Yvonne Bluto. She's very creative. She does a lot of work with our Desert Sands Foundation too. With I'm not sure if you're aware, Brianna, but She spearheaded our recorder program. So all of our elementary students have recorders now, but she's a teacher at Ford, and all the students over at Ford play the recorders, but now she's introducing the drum circles. So that'll be outstanding. And then Indio High School, $22,000. Indio Middle School, $10,000 for their band and color guard equipment. I'll tell you, being at the school site, I was an assistant principal, and I would get our budgets and so forth. And Mary will even say that the budget for culinary groceries was just unreal. There's no way that we could fund a whole band in color guard with equipment. So thank you very much for that. That's a great assistance there. Let's see here. La Quinta High School. Mary, you love this. They're getting $5,000.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the culinary department, as well as your friend, Mr. Schmidt. He's getting $3,900 from the Anderson Children's Foundation. You'll love that. Johnson Elementary, our friend, Mr. Fisher, getting $6,000 for the Joy Reading program. You'll love this at Palm Desert High School. If this is the program I think it is, this is the Lunch Pals program where their football team, I believe, has lunch every Friday before games with their special needs kids. And
that is awesome. That is
awesome. So they wear jerseys, they have football buddies, so that funds that.
I love that.
Shadow Hills High School. This is a new thing that's been going on around at CIF girls wrestling. So now we need a girls wrestling room. This sport just came, I think, just in the last 5 years. So you guys are helping fund a brand new sport here that we're offering here in Desert Sands. So thank you for that. Band boosters, Paul Bluto and his team, they do an amazing job at Shadow Hills. And then building sustainable future with Roosevelt Elementary. I'd have to, you know what? I got to find out a little bit more about that project there. But no, thank you so much. This is amazing. And Mary, here's the grand total. Look at that, $99,000 coming to Desert Sands from the Anderson Children's Foundation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I know. Well, Brianna, I was telling Sean, and I don't know if you heard, I was up in Julian, and they had a band of young people that were, I think they were mostly the big horns, big silver horns. I mean, their outfits were white silk with all kinds of things, but the children that were in there that were playing were probably from 12 to 20. And the amount of work that they had to do, they volunteered. They were there the whole day. They came up from wherever from Southern California. And I'm sure that some of these people have been a recipient of that money and the careers that they're going to be able to have from it. And the discipline, I mean, I was so impressed that there was no running around, no goofing off. And they were all very serious, and their director was there. And I think their sponsors were there. So I'm sure that this money that comes into Coachella Valley has that same value that you have to see these young people in action to realize the value of that money. It's tenfold.
I agree 100%. And Brianna, I also want to say that I also wear another hat in the community is I'm on the board with the Old Town Artisan Studios. And each of the last couple of years, you guys have funded our programs with the Boys and Girls Club. So thank you very much for that. It's just amazing that you guys are able to do these types of things. I have a question for you. You've been doing this job, a number of years, as you shared. Is there any one type project that you guys have funded that just sticks out and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we did this. It's absolutely amazing. Is there any one project that sticks out, or maybe one project that you want to share about?
Gosh, there's so many. My husband says I have like the fairy godmother job where I get to, it's always the good news that I'm seeing. I love the Old Town Artisan Studios. We were able to work with Fine this past year and give those art kits that you were talking about a couple of weeks ago. We were able to give, those kits to every family that pulled up and asked for food. Red Hot Ballroom is kind of a fun one. I know the district has had Red Hot Ballroom in the after-school programs before. We fund Kelsey's Heroes, of course, is one of my favorite, which is a children with special needs. They have their own baseball team. They play every week. They moved to cornhole during the pandemic, which was perfect for social distancing, and everybody had their own bags and everything like that. So there's so many. I was looking at our list over the years since I've been here. Those are some of the few that stand out for sure.
Okay.
I love getting into the East Valley, and I love seeing the funding making a difference out there, and just field trips in the arts. Mary, you're talking about the music. We have. I want to say that's our biggest ask is band boosters. We need more instruments. We need the color guard. We need the flags.
Exactly.
Yeah, so seeing a professional, polished, band where before they might have looked a little disheveled with older uniforms or beat up instruments, or maybe not everybody had an instrument. I love going out and seeing them in the parades where they're like you said, just no messing around, looking polished, ready to go.
I know. It just gives you goosebumps. I mean, they were well groomed. It was just unbelievable. There wasn't one person that didn't come up. We were taking care of snacks and water that didn't say thank you and may I have something, and the politeness that went along with that structure. I was just excited to see them come up and talk to them and realize, I mean, because there was a lot of them. And then when they marched down Main Street, it was, I can't even describe it to you. It was a good feeling to see that somebody helped them, somebody funded them somewhere along the line.
Yeah, we have some very passionate music instructors out here in the Coachella Valley who are really making a difference in children's lives.
No, definitely. Then while I have you on here, I also want to thank Chef Mary. I'll tell you, I think Brianna met you in September of this last year when we physically met for the first time, when we picked up some things over at a restaurant in Indian Wells where you guys had made a donation. So follow me on this, Chef Mary. You'll love this. A couple of different steps here. Anderson Children's Foundation opened up their grants last year. The Bighorn Cares, is that who wrote it? Or a group of people from Bighorn wrote a grant to give out uniforms and so forth? Is that?
It was actually the Assistance League.
Oh, the Assistance League. The Assistance League. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. The Assistance League wrote a grant to provide pants and shirts and sneakers for kids in the East Valley. And they gave us something crazy, well over 300 backpacks full of those items for our students.
Oh my
Actual
God.
size pants. And Mary, they're individualized. So every kid had their exact same size that they needed. And
Oh my gosh.
the amount of time and effort that took, and it was just amazing.
Exactly.
That you guys helped spearhead that, you guys funded that, and then the Assistance League was able to do that. And I got confused because I actually met the Bighorn Carers there at the event.
I think they funded them as well. I think that's
okay.
That's the correlation there. So Assistance League applied for several grants, and Anderson Children's Foundation was able to give them some funding as well. So
yeah. Well, Brianna, once again, thank you for all that you do in the Coachella Valley, and thank you for what you do for Desert Sands and having these grants available for our students. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before Chef Mary and I let you go?
Please encourage everybody to apply. Go to our website. We begin accepting applications on February 1st, which is, believe it or not, going to come up pretty quick. So start thinking about what you need, what your children need. It does need to get board approved if you are working in the district. So please coordinate with your principals, and I look forward to seeing applications in February.
Excellent. Brianna, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And we will definitely be highlighting all these different programs and what they've received in the future episodes and so forth. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Thank you, Brianna.
Bye-bye. Chef Mary, bye-bye.
Once again, Chef Mary, we always get the best of guests on this show, don't we?
I know. And it's because I think you and I, when we see the fruits of that labor, it has more value, that you're able to purchase something, or like with the culinary program, if we don't have items and food for them to work with, there's no program.
Exactly.
And, and you can't have a program at some point where the parents can't afford to pay for uniforms or whatever. And they've got a child that really, really has a passion for doing that.
Right.
These type of programs open those doors for these kids. And I think if you can find a passion for them, whether it's, a flag or, blowing a horn or doing a drum or whatever, you need to move with that because they need that. I think they really need that to move forward. Because we all have passions that we like to do. And if that's taken away from you or it's not made available, it's kind of a bummer, kind of a downer.
Mm-hmm.
So her programs are great. I mean, I'm excited about it.
No, I always brag that I have the best job in the world, and I feel I do. But Brianna definitely has. She's fighting with me for 1 and 2 there with who has the best job, because she literally goes around and sees where all these checks are being spent and paid for these great opportunities.
Well, Sean, you and I have a battle with everybody we talk to because we all have the best job. It's like, who has the best job? Someone said to me the other day, like, well, how come you think about still working? I go, I love what I do. I have the best job. I go every day. I'm happy. I like volunteering.
I can't wait to be on your end where I'm in the retired part of my job.
Yeah, when you try to retire.
Yeah,
it's called trying to retire.
I got a long time before that. Definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah, but I want to go ahead and make sure, Mary. One thing next week. This is different. We're going to be coming live, and I'll talk to you backstage afterwards which day we'll do. But I'm heading to a conference with Mary Perry and Jen Diaz. We're going to the National School Public Relations Conference. We're actually the first group to leave Desert Sands for a conference, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
And the conference is in New Orleans.
Oh, you lucky devil.
And with that being said, I think I'm going to try. We should do a remote edition of Classroom Conversations from somewhere in New Orleans. So I'm going to try and arrange that so we can you can come see the French Quarter with me a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have something interesting going next week. I'm going back up to Big Bear.
Okay.
I think Wednesday and Thursday to do some training. They have our big staff has moved on. One guy is coming to San Diego, to Pechanga. Chef went to Seattle. And that's pretty typical in the resort environment. Levy moves everybody around if they need to be moved around. So I'm going to go up and do some training with the new sanitation guy. So I'm kind of excited about that because it was like they've only been gone like a month. But they called and asked me if I'd like to drive up, and they would make sure I had, plenty of places to stay. And so it's like we're on the road. I mean, That's awesome. I are on the road again.
Look at that. We are on the road again. We're back to normal. We're looking for normalcy. I love it.
I know. So when are you going to New Orleans? What dates?
So I leave Saturday and I come back the 15th.
Okay.
The conference is the 11th through the 14th. So I'm sorry, not the 11th. Yeah, the 11th through the 14th. I like to say I've been to New Orleans, never, but I've actually been there for like 36 hours, but I don't count it because it was college and Mardi Gras, and it really, yeah. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing it and being there and interacting with the rest of the communications team so we can come up with a new plan for this upcoming year. This last year, you got to love Mary. She wrote an application for an award, and we won for community engagement and so forth. Just imagine if we actually put this plan together ahead of time. So I'm looking forward to meeting with them while we're in New Orleans, going to some of the sessions, interacting with like-minded people from around the country who do my job, Jan's job, as well as Mary's job. So it's going to be a great experience. My first time going to one of these types of things.
Well, Sean, my mother's from New Orleans.
Okay.
And they all, it was kind of interesting. They moved there probably in the early 1900s or even prior to that. But they all came from Prussia.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
And so at the time, that wasn't a nationality that was popular. So they became French and Indian.
Okay.
So we grew up thinking we were French and Indian. Well, we're not.
Got
it. we're basically, German descent. So my sister went down there to visit, and she said, "Oh yeah, my grandmother was French and Indian." Well, my grandmother's last name was Brewer.
Okay.
And so the lady says, "Oh no, they live in Germantown." And Carol says, "Oh no, they're French and Indian. They wouldn't live in Germantown." She goes, "Honey, they live in Germantown." The street address. So going through ancestry.com and whatever, it's been a crazy road to see that we all thought we were Seminoles. I mean, it was like, oh, we have Indian high cheeks. Well, we don't. So, so I know you're gonna love New Orleans, and
no. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, and just being in the like-minded people that do my job and across the country, and be able to interact and speak with them and get some ideas. I got some pretty crazy ideas. I can only imagine what whoever does my job in New Orleans does. So I'd love to. Yeah, I can't wait to meet up with them.
Well, I always think you're never too old to learn anything. It's like I'm always open to learning things or listening to what people have to say, or even talk radio. Maybe I may not agree or disagree, but sometimes there's a point of it that you go, oh well, that could be
Yep.
something to consider. And it would be interesting to see how they handle and their climates and everything in their environment.
Yeah. No, one of the sessions I plan on going to is crisis management for schools.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing who the panel members are and having some discussions, because I'm going to do a little rewind here. You may not know this, but right before the pandemic, we had a little crisis in Desert Sands where one of our schools was condemned, basically. And then we were told by the state that we had to be out of there in a week. So, and we were able to successfully do that. And many times I've heard my boss, Mr. Bailey, say that, there's not a book written on how to do that. And we were able to successfully do that. So I'm looking forward to hearing other people that go through these types of things, because that's my world now. Those are the types of things that we deal with. So
well, you think about those schools in the South, by the time they go through all the hurricanes and the weather and whatever, I mean, they must be in crisis mode 24/7.
And then even some of the schools, I remember hearing from Louisiana where they talk about tornadoes as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to be there and so forth, to learn from people, like I said, like individuals. Think about the conference that you got to go with when we were at La Quinta, when you got to speak with other chefs that work with kids, how that just opened up your eyes and opened up your creativeness, right, and so forth. So this being the first time I get to do something like that, I'm really, really excited to take advantage of the full conference.
Well, I noticed that when we went to that one conference, it was interesting to see the mindset about people being in the business, in culinary and not being in culinary, from the various standpoints of parents and, the career paths they wanted them to take. And I never considered that would be an issue. I just kind of always figured, we had a culinary program, that it would be supported, by everybody. And he told me that in their communities, it wasn't.
Right.
And it was interesting to see how they taught things and what they did and how they maintained their classes. And because you have to kind of learn by example and learn by how other people are doing it, and then to reevaluate how you're doing it and how you're thinking about it. So, and I mean, luckily in the desert, our crisis is just probably heat.
Oh, I don't know about that, Mary. Like I said, we've had a couple, but I'm going to start wrapping us up here. I want to make sure to bring this up again on screen. As we partnered with the city of Indio. They're one of our, most of our schools are in the city of Indio, but please go ahead and go to AuthenticIndio.com, fill out that survey, be part of the community voice. This takes place until July 19th. They're doing some great things in the city over there. Like I said, I got to meet with Brooke Berry and the new city manager, Brian Montgomery. Found out he's a fan of fried chicken like I am.
Me too.
Some great people over there that work in the city, and I've known Brooke for years. She just went through the Leadership Coachella Valley program with me. But let's help them out. Let's help out the city of Indio, and let's hear your voice. AuthenticIndio.com. They got a real simple survey. Please go ahead and fill that out. And then lastly, Mary, I want to make sure people are aware of our meals. Yeah. These are all the different spots you can get meals at. Very important. Anybody who's 18 years and younger, you can go ahead and pick up meals. Heck, if you're visiting from out of town and you want to grab some food and you're under the age of 18, come on by and grab some meals. We got them available. And you'll love this, Mary. Yesterday when I was covering over at John Glenn, I was on the back side of the campus by the cafeteria, and then on the front side of the campus where the bus loop, they had Find Food Bank there. So what Food Bank was doing was handing out, we give the meals to 18 and under, and then Find is giving full boxes of produce and food to anybody 18 and over. So they do that once every other week.
Yeah, and I think that's really good, because I think a lot of people feel that stuff is tossed away or it's not utilized, because you hear that a lot. They go, I can't believe. And so these programs kind of reinforce that, they are taking everything they've got and making sure it gets out there, and you're able to, because the time we had Chef Scott on, you could see what you can make with very little.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, Mary, as we highlighted earlier, the preschool kiddos that are right down the hallway from me. You want to participate with this? You want to be a part of this program? Give us a call. We've got the information, the phone number going on right there. Low cost and free preschool for families that qualify. So go ahead. From what I understand, the number's a little bit lower than usual. Coming out of it, I feel like we're in a new era right now. So numbers a little bit lower. Hopefully we can get people to go ahead and register as soon as possible. But great opportunities right over here, right down the hallway for me.
Exactly. Yeah, because I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get people out of the routine that we have been in. I mean,
Yeah.
I even find that sometimes you all of a sudden go, oh, I can't go there, or I can't be in the store, or maybe I shouldn't go in the store. And
Right.
so I think people still are kind of wavering with that a little bit I guess they're looking for that comfort zone that, yeah, we can do this.
Yep, exactly. I love that. We can do this. Just like at the beginning of pandemic when somebody put right on Mr. Bailey's on his driveway in chalk. We got this. You know?
Yeah.
We
Now
do.
we can do this. Yeah, we can.
But
do this.
Chef Mary, like I said, we'll be catching up next week from New Orleans. That'll be a fun
I
little
know.
episode to our viewers here at CoachellaValley.com and to our viewers on Facebook at Desert Sands and Desert Sands Foundation. I'll post the date. Like I said, I've got to look at my conference schedule versus where I can find Wi-Fi, as well as how we can coordinate with Chef Mary. But rest assured, the next time you see me, we'll be coming live to you from New Orleans at the National School Public Relations Conference. But you guys have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Chef Mary, always a pleasure to see you.
As well. And I'm just envious that you're going and just hunt for the best bread pudding, because that was one of our challenges, the best bread pudding. And we found some incredible bread pudding when we were there. It was just, it's a fun place. The food is incredible. And the atmosphere, hospitality.
I love that I'm going with Mary Perry and her husband, and then Jan.
Oh my gosh.
Mary is already prepared like an itinerary for us. Like, so in here it's integrated of activities we're doing in between sessions, and then a session, then activities. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great little time to see New Orleans as well as be with my colleagues and learn some more. So
exactly. Well, have a safe fly safely. I know Mary Perry will take very good care of her because she's the world-renowned traveler.
Yes, it's funny. She actually look at the comments she put up. She already, and this is already on our schedule. Beignets and gumbo, most definitely.
Yes.
Beignets and gumbo.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Coachella Valley. We'll see you next time from New Orleans. Come to you live. You guys have a great one.
Bye. Have fun, you guys.